A warm greeting. Today is Tuesday, October 31, 2023. This is the meteorologist Ruben Garcia. In this video, I will be providing an update on Tropical Storm Pilar, which is currently located just south of El Salvador. Additionally, we will be discussing the recently designated Invest 97, which is a low-pressure system located to the south of the Dominican Republic and has a moderate chance of cyclonic development as it moves westward over the Caribbean Sea. Interests in the Yucatán Peninsula, Belize, Honduras, and Nicaragua should pay attention to the evolution of Invest 97. Meanwhile, Tropical Storm Pilar will continue to bring heavy rains to the southern regions of Honduras, El Salvador, and western Nicaragua. Let's move on to the visible satellite animation of Tropical Storm Pilar, which continues to move very slowly to the east, located just south of El Salvador. Fortunately, it has begun to decrease its translational movement, and it should soon make a turn to the west-southwest, moving away from the Central American coast. However, the outer bands on the right side of the circulation have been bringing heavy rains, especially in western Nicaragua, southern Honduras, and El Salvador, where some flooding has been reported today. Take a look at the official forecast from the National Hurricane Center, where during tonight and early Wednesday, it should start turning west-southwest and eventually move over open waters of the eastern Pacific. Although there is currently a tropical storm watch for parts of northwestern Nicaragua, southern Honduras, and the coast of El Salvador, the reality is that the tropical storm winds will remain over the eastern Pacific waters. What is expected is additional rain over the next 24 hours, with rainfall accumulations ranging from 75 to 100 millimeters in parts of northwestern Costa Rica, western Nicaragua, southern Honduras, and regions in the center and east of El Salvador. Starting from tomorrow, Wednesday, the weather conditions should gradually improve as the circulation moves away from the Central American coast. Now, let's turn to the low-pressure system with a moderate chance of development, located to the south of the Dominican Republic or to the north of Venezuela. This disturbance remains disorganized as it moves westward over the Caribbean waters. Today, we have seen that the models are less aggressive in strengthening this disturbance as it approaches Nicaragua and Honduras. For this reason, the National Hurricane Center reduced the development chances from 70% to 60% at 2 p.m. for the next few days as it moves westward. Nevertheless, it is expected to become a tropical depression before reaching Nicaragua and Honduras. It is important to keep an eye on the evolution of this disturbance. In terms of the forecast path, specialized models all show a southwestward movement over the next 24 hours. Eventually, it should start moving westward, passing very close to or over the Providencia and San Andres Islands. Eventually, in about 4 or 5 days, it could reach the eastern coast of Nicaragua or the eastern coast of Honduras. Therefore, there is divergence in the different solutions in the long term. Some models show a path over Honduras and eventually reaching the Belize region, while others have a path more towards the west-southwest, crossing over Nicaragua and eventually reaching the eastern Pacific waters. There is still significant uncertainty regarding where exactly the center of circulation will make landfall. This will depend on how strong this disturbance develops. If it becomes stronger, it could take a more west-northwest path, while if it remains weak, it could take a west-southwest path. In terms of intensity, the models agree that it should remain as a tropical depression or a weak to moderate tropical storm before entering Central America. At the moment, it seems unlikely that it will arrive as a hurricane in Honduras or Nicaragua. It appears it will likely arrive as a weak to moderate tropical storm. Let's take a look at the latest projections from the global models, starting with the GFS model. By the early hours of Thursday, it has a tropical depression forming just north of Colombia and moving west-southwest. It then strengthens just before reaching Nicaragua, where it could arrive as a moderate tropical storm during the early hours of Saturday. It then maintains a path over Honduras and Belize, where heavy rains can be expected during the weekend and the beginning of next week. In comparison, you can see that the GFS model continues to predict the arrival of a tropical storm, but it is very different from what it showed a few days ago when it had a powerful hurricane. These are definitely favorable trends. It seems that this disturbance won't be able to strengthen significantly before reaching Central America. On the other hand, the European model consistently keeps it very weak, possibly arriving as a tropical depression to the east of Nicaragua during the late hours of Friday. It would eventually move towards the eastern Pacific waters. The German model aligns with the European model, having a tropical depression or a weak tropical storm arriving in the east of Nicaragua during the early hours of Saturday. You can see that the global models generally agree that it will arrive in the east of Nicaragua as a tropical depression or a weak tropical storm. Looking at the ensemble members of the GFS model, in general, they agree on this trajectory. A westward movement over the next 5 days, eventually reaching the northern or central regions of Nicaragua. Members that keep it weaker move it towards the eastern Pacific, while those that maintain it as a tropical storm predict a path over the eastern Honduras and eventually reaching Belize or the southern Yucatán Peninsula. However, they all keep it as a tropical depression as it crosses over Honduras and Belize. Now, let's look at the ensemble members of the European model. The vast majority of them don't even develop this disturbance anymore. In general, this is good news for the regions of Honduras and Nicaragua because it seems that conditions will be less favorable for cyclonic development and strengthening. In the event that a tropical depression forms, what we will be monitoring over the next few days are the total rainfall accumulations it may bring while passing through the regions of Honduras, Nicaragua, and Belize. Fortunately, in comparison to what we saw yesterday, the rainfall projections have decreased dramatically. Nevertheless, the rainfall accumulations can still lead to some flooding. I urge residents of Honduras, Nicaragua, and Belize to stay vigilant regarding the evolution of Invest 97. Remember that here at Hurricane Info, I will continue to monitor the evolution of this disturbance in case there are any significant changes in this forecast. At the moment, there is no reason to be overly concerned. We will simply remain vigilant to see how this forecast evolves. Remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you don't miss any of the videos and updates I will provide for this forecast. To do that, go to the bottom of the video, click on the red subscribe button, and then click on the bell icon to receive notifications when I upload new videos. With that, I bid farewell, and I'll see you tomorrow.